Hello, welcome back to my inside look on how I make my kids' book. It's me, Alex the Poppy, from Poppy's Publishing, who is the author of the Meow Meow books. Two of them are behind me. And we're continuing with this book here, Meow Meow and the Great Horse Rescue. And just some insights of some of my processes of how I did the pages. There was a lot of pencil work and me writing my script and text on the actual illustration pencil pages. And I'm going to bring you into a little more insights of how I crafted some of the more complex pages, where there's one that has every single character at one time. So that's Meow Meow, 4 people, 5 horses, plus a gate, a water basin, a roll of hay, the back of a horse trailer. A lot's going on. So I'm going to show you that and how the process is of getting them to look detailed. I will explain that in a little bit, and I will show you another one towards the end. I want to show you how I got everything together for what became the final result of that wonderful page, and some little insights to my dedication page and about page. I don't think I've ever addressed them in any of these videos. So what do you say? Let's dive in and share my screen so you can see all the magic come to you right now with me, the Poppy, and Meow Meow. Okay, we are showing one of the pages of the book. This is when Meow Meow's gone to the horse rescue with Miss Laney right above her, and she's talking to Cindy, who's holding the feed bucket, and over there we have Benny and his daughter Annie. And I just want to show this placemat that I put the picture on is at my stepdaughter's house in New York. So even while I was visiting them, I was working on this. I brought pieces of paper with me. I think I brought a notebook just to be safe. I wanted to work on this while I was there because I was there for a week and a half. And there would be downtime, and I knew it. So I had to take advantage and work on the book. Another pencil drawing. A lot of these are the way they are in the book. I think I had this page 11. I'm not sure if I keep it that way. Again, this is thumbnail-y. This is when they arrive at the junkyard where the horses are, but unfortunately a big bus is blocking the road for Lainey to get her truck and horse rescue trailer. How did she get past this? She's asking Meow Meow about it. And I actually have, so I wrote a lot of my lines here. I just had a kind of idea what I wanted to write. This is pretty much the same as you'll see, but I think Lainey changes a little bit. Here we go. I wanted to show. She has both her hands on here on her door. And there's Meow Meow thinking about what to do. And again, a lot of this stuff is on its own layer. I have separate layers for this, for that. And then I wanted to show Meow Meow pushing the bus. And I got some clips of buses so I could see how they look. And that's with anything. You drive a car, you see a plane, but when it's time for you to draw it, like, I want to get this right. You know, how high up are the headlights? Where is the grill located? How wide should it be in proportion to her? I mean, Meow Meow's a short character. She's about 3 to 4 feet tall. So this bus has to be massive. And so this is what I went with. She gives a push, and I'm going to show you the progression. And then what I tend to do is I'm not shy. I'll draw Meow Meow and I'll draw these lines. They'll overlap.
but I'll erase the stuff that we don't want to have covering Meow Meow. But I need all the layers so I could go see what it looks like straight across. That's the beauty of the digital art. You can just draw the lines through and get rid of what you don't need. Even if you go outside the lines, you can get rid of that. So I had just a very general idea, but I like the ears back, and she's got that determined look. I think I then shift her eyes more. She's looking into the bus's grill and she's pushing against it. This very determined look because she's super strong. And the bus is practically taking up most of this scene, this page. But I had to get my line in here. Meow Meow goes over to the bus and gives it a big push. And I wanted to do it this way. I just like this idea of it kind of slightly erasing, or maybe like a cloud. So I did erase a lot of this to make room to put my words in here. And then I added some stuff, made it a little simple. I just added some spray paint brush to get some of this, and speckling just to make the bus a little raggedy. I used more perfect lines for the headlights, but even the bus is a little bumpy. It's been sitting there forever. So, and then there's a grass brush, and you could do the grass brush. I used it in the previous Meow Meow book. I wanted the grass all dirty looking. It's been there. It's just still practically weeds. Just got to make sure that some grass is in the background and some is in the foreground. So here's the next page where Meow Meow's pushing that bus off the road. I pretty much keep it the same way. I wanted this angle closer so we could see Lainey reacting to Meow Meow's super strength, pushing this ginormous bus off the road. Oh, that was amazing. Some of this might have changed, but I just got my general idea. And this helps because I know where I want the words to end. It starts here, she gives it a push until it's off the road, and then she goes into the junkyard. So here it was again. Once again, lines are overlapping. That's okay. Gives me a general idea of what I want. Meow Meow still got that determined face. Let me add a little bit more. Some of the junk lining the road, a tree. The tires are just a little bent. Little vibrational lines to give you a sense of motion. And then here, I added this nice little smear brush and some little dirt speckles to show that it's moving in the grass, coloring everything in. There's a little more shading I added, of course, here. I didn't shade in the bus yet. Added some other leaves in here to make it fun, and just like pallets and barrels and junk and tires all along the road, even a little abandoned boat. And move on to this page. It's pretty much the exact same layout. Still in New York, as you can see by the placemat. Just taking pictures. I had to take pictures, so I guess just as a reference, so I have an extra copy. I knew what I was going to do. And then she's introducing Meow Meow to Lainey. The horse isn't digging it. Now, originally I had the horse with the ears up like this, but I changed it to this because in real life, when horses are not crazy about something, the ears go back. So you know they're not digging whatever's happening. And Angel's just not so sure about this rope Lainey's holding. Of course, she has good intentions, but, it's scary. And then little girl Annie brings her carrots. Well, that might change her mind. All right. This is the big page. This is when they've rescued all the horses and they're bringing them off the trailer into Lainey's rescue. And they have an area that's fenced in that has water and hay to take care of them. A big pen. So I always wanted Meow Meow to be part of the scene, just floating in. And she's the translator. Only she can understand and talk to the animals. So anything Angel says, she relays back to the people. So let us go for it. I broke it down this way, and I'll explain in another clip really what I have to do. Let's just go back. You know, this is very rough. Now, if I try to draw Meow Meow at this size, the details won't work. So what I have to do is draw her at full size, all my details needed, and then shrink her down. And that also goes for the coloring. But when I initially do this, I will start shrinking her down and placing her where I want her before I start coloring. So this is the position I have Lainey in. She's been holding the lead for Angel. So all of these, they look kind of weird here, but they were full size. They filled up the entire screen. And so each character is on their own layer. Even parts of the rope are on their own layer. And then I have Miss Cindy holding the leads for 2 horses, bringing them in. I'm still keeping with my initial rough sketch. And then Benny's escorting 2 of the other horses out. And then I just had to get a lay of the land, so I wanted this kind of perspective and layout of the fence, so we get the kind of the scope of it, and then seeing how the horses get into this little pen. Not too little. And Annie's watching along. She's got her hands on the fence as her dad escorts the horses in. Again, they all have their own layers, even the ropes do. And I had some, I wanted to have some water over here, big trough. Is it a trough? Water bucket trough. And a bale of hay here. Because this is what it really looked like. Having been to the horse rescue myself, there's a lot of dirt here. But they have hay. They have rolls of hay. These things are huge. If you've never seen a roll of hay, it's almost as tall as a person. Tall and wide as a 6-foot person. They can be. And you need that for all the horses so they can all enjoy the hay. We get coastal hay for our girl, Angel. That's what she's been eating, and that's what we give her. All right, so now we were starting to color them in. Again, you're going to want to color them at full size and even do their shading at full size and then shrink the whole thing down. I'll get to that in a sec. I just wanted to get everybody in position. I had to think, all these separate colors. I had a gray horse, this off-white one, Angel's there. We have a terracotta and kind of a light brown cardboard color. And you can leash your horse this way, right around their neck, at the base of their neck. And they'll go. All right, now we're looking different. I didn't like this dead space up here. So I moved Miss Cindy with the 2 horses up here, moved the water trough a little bit over. And just that was really about it. I know I'm blocking some of Annie, but you still see her. So then I'm coloring in all the fence. These stayed the size they did. So did the horse trailer. And there is a gravel brush. You could just... This is what the page looks like in Clip Studio Paint. Just want to bring your attention to the side here. I color coded every layer. Look at that. This just made it easier. It made them their own folders. So when you, on the Meow Meow, when it drops down, and it shows you every little thing I did from her face. See if I do that. That's her lines. But this would be like that part of her arms and her face. And her legs and her eyes and stuff like that. But then again, remember, I did these at full size. And I shrunk her down. That's just the whole thing of the, oops, I forgot to bring that back. Whole thing is, shrinking your object down. When you make it full size, all you have to do is shrink it down, and the details remain. Which I learned. I learned. Because if I were to try and draw it at this size, it would look horrible. It'd be very pixelated. I think I tried doing that first, like, this is not working. So I came up with the solution of doing that and then just shrinking it down, and retains its detail. You could see everybody, even a little bit of the belt buckle on him. But yet, so here, see Laney's rope? Has its own layer. It was just a lot easier and smarter to do that. Laney herself. Angel, of course. Miss Cindy. And then her horse there. Ben's ropes. Oh, I added some. I think I put some of the trailer trimming on that one too. And Benny. That part of the gate, so I added that on the same layer. It's like the open part of the gate. The water basin had its own layer. I gotta do it. The whole fence. Whee! And the trailer. I tell you, we've had to have Angel get surgery on her hips on the back. And trying to get that horse up a trailer, that's what it looks like. She was not wanting it sometimes. It was very challenging. It took a few people to help persuade her to get up there. There's Annie's layer and the water hay ground. I don't know if I would have had, I really had the hay on the same layer? Huh. With the ground, I guess so. But I had it in a way that it didn't interfere with itself. So that's how I did that layer. The most complicated one in the entire book. There you have it. And even the choices of moving her and the horses there, it just kind of fills things out. Instead of, this would have just been all this dead space here. And I moved it in such a way that you can still see her. And even though this is behind Angel, it's nothing's interfering. This one took a while, but I think it came out quite well. Well, here we are with another one. I really wanted to give you an idea. This is the rough sketch. Obviously, spoiler alert, Annie gets to adopt Angel. And so I thought it'd be a fun idea, like, how am I going to get Angel to her house? Well, we've got Meow Meow. She's so super strong. She carries this gigantic metal crate that has Angel and Miss Laney holding her because she didn't want to transport Angel by herself. And Laney wanted to be here to see the two of them reunite. And now her officially adopting her with her dad there, of course. So this was the idea. I'm not going to draw Miss Laney this way. But what I did is, there you are. I drew a full page of Meow Meow in this position that I wanted her in. So, complete full page of paper. I did that for her, holding the crate. Close up of Laney and Angel in the crate. I wanted that. And I don't have the pencil of her and her dad, but it's there, and this is what I started with. I kept her reaction, but Dad, I wasn't sure what to do with him. I want him to present. It seemed a little too game showy for me, but that's what it looks like first. So there we are, back to Meow Meow. I drew her without actually holding the handle, but I wanted to get everything in place. It was an easy tracing of my own drawing. And we shrunk her down, so she retained all her detail. I shrunk her down for now, so I could make sure I have everything on the page I wanted to, in the position I wanted to. Everything's composed where it should be. Andy's expression is still awesome. I love this. I think this is just one shot, and like, oh, this is perfect. Jaw-dropping moment. Her dad, I think I changed his look a little bit. There we go. He's just smiling, looking down at his daughter. He's not even looking at her. He's looking at her reaction. He's so happy. And I thought adding a little bow on the top was a cute little idea. And then there's like, where do you get this crate? Meow Meow knows people. And then, of course, I drew them full size, but shrunk them down to see where they would line up in this crate. I think I did them first, and then I drew everything around it just so I knew where everything wound up. And yes, I used a straight line tool so we could have these lovely straight lines. And there's a close-up. See, I have my little shrinking down boxes. And there's Lainey and her and the bow in the picture. Everybody's happy. If I change much. So there they are, colored in. Her dad's looking. There's the outfit she's wearing that day. I haven't colored the crate yet. But just so you know, I'm not sure if the next shot is that. Lainey and Angel are about the same height and size. That's not good. This is a horse. She's going to be taller than her. All right, she's still that size. Then I got the proportion of her right. Added her details, shrunk everything down, added the grass, a little shadow, and a little spray paint to just give it like a metal finish. All right, this is in the bow. This is where, just look at Miss Lainey here. And there you see. That's more appropriate. I had to just shrink her down. So that's really important. If you have all your stuff on the same layer, like I showed you before, you can shrink the whole entire layer. If it's a folder, it makes it so much easier because all the shading, all the colors just shrink down and they stay where they're supposed to, and she still retains her detail. Made a little darker gray in the background, so so it's like an empty crate. But I love this. Her reaction was priceless. And then this was just my only complaint. I had to fit a lot of text in here, but it's just so cute. She gets to finally adopt Angel, and it's the biggest surprise. But it was a fun thing to draw. So now you know, this is my method. I highly recommend it. If you're going to have characters of varying sizes, you want to keep their details, don't try to draw them in this size. It's just better to draw them big and color them in that size and shrink it down. You'll retain all of this beautiful, sharp imagery. Funny enough, this image of Meow Meow is what? That one. Yes, very sharp eyes, my friends. I just reversed it. And I thought, this is the dedication page. Let's make Meow Meow start the book. And this is how I do all the ones. I just take an image or something I may not use and make it the color of the text. This one's dedicated to two people, my wife, to Anna, your love, support, and laughter help me through every day, and to my dad, you have shown me it's never too late to follow your dreams. So this one was dedicated to them, and this is the opening page. And then I end the book with an about page, which, why are you showing us pencil, Poppy? Well, this was an unused drawing. I was going to use this as, I can't figure it out, this is Lainey leading Angel off the trailer into her new home, temporary home, her rescued home. And I wanted this angle of us like looking behind them as she's about to enter this new area, but I'm like, nah, it's just too much. It's an unnecessary page. The group shot gets everything done. But I said I kind of like it. So I used that for the About the Author page. And spruced it up, and there you go. And my About pages have the same thing. Alex Rudy has been drawing since he can remember. He was inspired as a child by comic books and cartoons to create his own characters and storylines. Very true. He wrote and illustrated the first Meow Meow book called Meow Meow and the Lost Doggy. Obviously, the third book has this now. He hopes that by reading these books, children will realize how important it is to take care of animals. Alex loves roller coasters, movies, and time with his wife, 2 dogs, 4 cats, and 1 horse. Visit his website, poppyspublishing.com. And there you have it. So I just wanted to add that in there, and I like it's in this color. And, I'm not having them in their full color. It's just the line color. It works. I think it does. And hopefully this has been a very helpful little backstage look at making Meow Meow and the Great Horse Rescue. It's been fun showing all these little tips and tricks and way I do things, so it can help you in your publishing illustration journey.
Well, I hope that was fun. Pulling back the curtain, showing some of how I do my thing, and hopefully it's just what you needed to hear and see, so you can do the same thing for your kids' book. If you're illustrating it, follow along. Drop me a comment if you have any more questions. I'll be happy to answer whatever you need me to answer on making these things. Each book was a learning process, as you will experience yourself once you do that. I hope you do more than one kid's book. It's up to you. It's definitely a calling and discipline, but also fun and rewarding. So thanks for joining me for this video, and I'll see you next week where we delve more into Meow Meow and the Great Horse Rescue. Until then, bye, and keep creating.